So it's 1:41 a.m. and you can't stop thinking about what's on your calendar tomorrow. You're running the same buggy mental emotional processes on repeat. Speculation.exe, catastrophizing.exe, anxiety.exe. Then you spend 45 minutes running deliberation.exe. Should I get up and do something else? Finally, at 2:26, you force yourself up out of bed, go into your living room, and run meditation.exe to try to breathe away your anxiety. In 2024, I took on a student who'd been doing this for decades. He was a financial advisor, dealing with huge sums of money. The more millions he was moving around in the boardroom the next day, the less he'd sleep. He'd tried dozens of meditation techniques, but he was finally forced to admit that all of these were just him running one mental process to attempt to overwrite another. Operating this way, he was never able to truly relax. Not relax as in put his feet up, but relax as in stop trying to change even the slightest thing about his experience. Most of us have never even glimpsed this level of relaxation. So let's glimpse it together right now. Don't worry, it won't turn you into a zombie. Acknowledge whatever buggy mental emotional process is most present for you right now. Strong or subtle restlessness, anxiety, FOMO, whatever. Now, hit Control-Alt-Delete with me. Zoom out your perspective so that you're not in that buggy process, but observing it. This is the difference between I am restless and there is restlessness. If this sounds like meditations you've tried in the past, stay with me. The distinction will become clear. Typical meditation adds a layer of subtle effort. Analyzing, breathing in a special way, deliberately changing the contents of the mind. Here, we're not doing, we're undoing. Now, appreciate that your buggy process is made up of sensations, data. If this sounds odd, consider, how do you know that you're restless or anxious or whatever? You observe a cocktail of physical, mental, and emotional sensations going on, to which you apply the label restlessness. Now, looking right at it all, acknowledge that it is occurring within a greater space. This space is what I call your human operating system. Another name for it is awareness. When you're zoomed in, it can seem like your buggy process is all there is. I am restless. But when you zoom out, it doesn't seem so big. There is restlessness. When you zoom out, there's also the sensations of your legs, the sensations of the air in the room, the sounds outside the room. You may even notice that as various sensations come and go, your buggy process sometimes disappears. Maybe then it reappears freshly. Yet you assume it's solid because it shows up frequently. When you stop limiting the resolution in your human operating system, you see that your buggy processes aren't as solid as they seem. And here in infinity by infinity pixels, things look and feel quite different, don't they? Even if you can't yet feel what I'm saying, but only understand it intellectually, you experience some sense of relief. When you see your restlessness or anxiety dancing, changing, appearing and disappearing like this, you no longer perceive it as something solid. You see that there's space in and around and behind and beneath it. This space is what you really are. Restlessness comes and goes. Anxiety comes and goes. You remain as the space in which it comes and goes. From this vantage point, you have the opportunity to acknowledge the harmful and unnecessary nature of your buggy processes. All they do is hog precious resources. Resources you could be dedicating to what matters, your family, your friends, your work. The more you hang out in this perspective, the more your buggy processes seem absurd. Absurd. To hang out here more, just hit Control-Alt-Delete as often as you remember. If you need a reminder, set a recurring timer. The more my student glimpsed this, the more he found a genuine, deep, stable relaxation around the anxiety that was perpetuating his insomnia. In the end, his attitude was, I don't care whether I sleep or not. If I can't sleep, I hit Control-Alt-Delete and zoom out and relax into the naturally restful space that's around and between and within my anxiety. Sleep is more likely to sneak up on me then, but, and this is the real home run, if I go into the boardroom unslept, I hit Control-Alt-Delete there too, and free up whatever system resources are available to me. Knowing that he could rest as this space, where the sensations of sleep deprivation were just more impersonal data, gave this student a sense of ease he'd never experienced before. In a way of speaking, we pulled the rug out from under his anxiety, or actually we pulled the whole floor out and left that anxiety suspended in the infinite space of awareness, where it was just one data point among 11 million. What you're looking at isn't a metaphor. You're looking at the actual bandwidth of your human operating system, awareness, versus your RAM, your thinking mind. Systems theorist Tor Nurratanders famously calculated that we perceive 11 million bits of information per second, but the thinking mind can only process around 50 of those bits per second. When you're in your head, you're trying to suck your whole world through a straw. When you hit Control-Alt-Delete, you aren't spacing out. You're switching from the 50-bit processor to the 11 million bit processor. When you experience your buggy processes as the insignificant data they really are, it becomes much easier to stop giving them energy. And when you stop giving them energy, they self-terminate. This led to rapid and continuous reduction in my students' insomnia, it will lead to rapid and continuous reductions in your buggy processes too. Of course, you don't have just one, but many buggy processes blocking your natural peace and effectiveness. So I built a 1-minute diagnostic that will tell you how to terminate them. There's a link in the description. It's just 4 multiple choice questions that will tell you how to get rid of those processes for good.